The Apocalypse players present Saturnine Chalice, a Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario, written by Matt Sanderson. With Joseph Chance as Zachary J. Crumb, illicit distiller. Danann McAleer as Remy Knuckles LeBlanc, serial killer. Dan Wheeler as Clarence Ulysses Barnard or Cub, Louisiana confidence trickster. And Dominic Allen as the keeper of arcane lore. We return to find our investigators stood around the front door, where Remy Knuckles LeBlanc has made a potentially terrible mistake.
And if all I'm hearing is him saying Lester Goodman, a Lester Goodman, a Lester Goodman, all I think is, this is another fucking demon or something, and I just want to run forwards and skewer him.
Okay. So he says, listen to me carefully. There's only one way out of this, and then this spear comes through him.
Of course.
Straight through his neck.
Yeah. It would be up through the back of the neck and out through the mouth, if anything.
And he just goes, and then falls down dead.
Well, he doesn't fall down, he's pinned there. And I say, right, we need to get out of this place. There's one way in that I know. It's through the library. Follow me. And I move off towards the library.
I think I just let him go to the library. My face is fallen. I'm completely speechless for the first time ever. Looking into the eyes of Augustus, saying, Augustus?
Are you there?
So, I mean, I'm done. See what the other two are up to. I'm stood there.
I take no pleasure in the amount of joy Dom is having in my... I'm going to the library, which is the place I came in through. So I know there's a way out through there.
Yeah. Sure.
I've never seen The Matrix.
What is that?
Oh no! I think Remy's made it abundantly clear that he needs some agency. So let's stick with Remy for a time.
You get agency is the one thing you don't get in this scenario, I'm afraid.
Well, that's also become abundantly clear. Yeah. Where am I?
You're back in the library.
Yeah.
And again, books everywhere. There's a big table in the middle, also covered in
I've been here before. I know where the doors leading out are.
Where the women in the lectern are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's at least 5 of them.
Yes, there's that great big lectern with a big
huge
kind of eagle on it.
Holds 5 women, that sort of lectern. Yeah. We know where it is.
Really useful.
Really useful. Are the windows closed?
The windows are bricked up.
Is that a sand roll?
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe.
Because
maybe
joke as you might, but I've been trying to play it as close to what Remy's seen as he has, and I don't think he does know where.
That's true. The only bricked up windows you saw were upstairs where you hadn't been before.
Exactly.
It just makes sense.
I just thought the cupula, whatever the fuck that's called. That's 19 on my 74. I may still lose some sanity.
No, you don't lose any sanity for that.
But it must be a revelation, as in, I came through that window earlier, so this is the first window I've seen that seems to have been bricked up since I entered this house.
Yes.
That's a huge deal. And so I think my first reaction is to punch it. To start punching at it and to try and shoulder into it and try and see if I can move it. I'm assuming the cement will still be wet. Danann's not assuming that, but Remy is.
Yes, unfortunately, you discover that it's rock hard, and actually,
right.
I think I need what would it be? A Constitution roll or something?
Yeah, please.
You resist hurting yourself.
That's a 92 on my 80 Constitution. 80 Constitution. And it's a 92. Fucking hell.
Punch the wall as hard as you can. You hear a bit of a crunch as your knuckles give way.
Do a brawl roll and take the damage himself.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a hit point. It's just one hit point, right?
One hit point.
Oh, is that okay?
One hit point.
I wasn't trying to fight the wall. I was just trying to knock it through.
I was just trying to punch through a brick wall.
That's all I was trying to do.
And yet he says he hasn't seen The Matrix.
I think, I haven't seen Kill Bill. I may have seen The Matrix.
So, you're in the library. What do you want to do?
I shout, Cubby! Cubby! Zachary! How do we get out of here? And I start running back towards the main sort of open plan floor. Well, the closest to that I know, like the dining room lounge area. I know they're technically separated by doors, but I just need backup. I need someone behind me, even if I don't trust them. I just need, I can't be in this house alone because I've already killed 2 people in this room and both of them have come back alive. I need to get back with them.
And I'm stood by the front door just muttering to myself, almost inaudibly, we do find ourselves in a terrible predicament.
Yucks.
Terrible predicament.
Yucks. They're all ghosts. It's okay. They're just ghosts. And I pulled the it had fallen off me after I'd absolutely brought up a real welt on my right hip. It still stings, but it's enough to, I think, have brought me out of the sheer madness. But I still bring the hood up of my improvised sheet. And I'm looking at this oxen figure, this ox statue, and I'm desperately trying to rack my mind about the Abramelin.
Well,
as to whether there's a connection. So do you need another occult check, or is there a...
Well, how closely are you looking at this ox thing?
That's the focus of my study. I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm going to go over to it if it means getting a better glimpse of it. I look over at the murder of Augustus, and I nod, and I think maybe I start crying, but just silently.
Yeah,
I'm just sort of.
Is that a famous tapestry?
Mostly because of Cubby, because Cubby looks lost, and that makes me feel very sad. And it reminds me of how my mama was lost all the time, and she was no good at looking after me when I was little. And that's why I loved her so much, because I wanted just to feel better. And I want to go over to Cubby and tell him that it's all going to be okay. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to look at this ox figure, because maybe that's the way we're going to get out. I mean, I'm 2 sheets to the wind on this one, so he's got the 32 in his pocket. He's got his hand on the 32.
So I can show you what you see on this statue.
I mean, if it's truly fascinating, I may indeed pick it up.
So that's the ox statuette
with a strange image, and it's facing the wall, so horns towards the wall.
Yes, and I tell you what, you can give me an occult roll with a bonus die because you've already had a similar thought.
Yeah, that's good. The bonus die is going to be crucial. So the first one is a fail. Nope, both fails. I'm just trying to work out how much luck I could spend. Bonus die, but I could push the roll, couldn't I?
Yes.
Okay, so I was loath to pick it up. Knowing what he now knows and knowing where he is, I'm loath to try and pick it up. In game terms, mechanic terms, could I come back to it and push it later?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think with this newfound sense of focus, and also the horror of just the death of Augustus, and although I'm still absolutely convinced that they're all ghosts, and that makes perfect sense, and I will be pursuing that, I think I calmly step onto the table, walk across the table, and pick up the book, sit down, and start reading the book.
So you're reading the bigger book, aren't you? The thicker book. Okay, we'll come back to that. What's Cubby doing?
I sort of turn to look at the brick wall, put my hand against it. It's a solid brick wall.
It's a solid brick wall.
And I turn back and look down at Augustus, and I say, Augustus? We do find ourselves in a terrible predicament.
And then you hear Augustus's voice behind you. We do? And it's coming from the front room.
Oh, well, okay. Cubby realizes this could be very good or very bad. And I think maybe he starts talking to himself. And he says, this could be a doppelganger who may be like Augustus himself, knows the solution, the way out, the way we can escape this house, or it could be that frightful creature who presented as myself, as Clarence Ulysses Bernard. but how to tell? So I turn towards the front room. I'm just looking at like the lounge on the map.
Yeah.
So I'd have to go through the dining room to get there. Okay. I tear a strip off my shirt. I untuck my shirt. I tear a strip off. And I blindfold myself. And I start making my way along the wall to the door. And I say, Augustus, is that you?
Yes? Are you all right?
I remember that when I spoke to the other Clarence Ulysses Bernard, it just repeated one thing. It didn't actually speak to me in conversation. So I'm feeling slightly more optimistic about this, but I'm going to keep my blindfold on just in case. I don't know whether it's a defense against this creature or not. So I say, there's been a terrible accident by the front door. Could you come and offer me some assistance?
Oh, of course. I'm coming right now.
Could I do a listen roll to see whether I can hear footsteps?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a hard success.
You can hear footsteps, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a floating spectre. I feel it's not a floating spectre. I'm going to take my blindfold off.
So you've made your way into the lounge, have you?
No, I'm just I think I've just made my way down the door and called round the corner in the dining room.
Right.
I haven't gone all the way there, and I'm hoping he'll come and meet me.
Yeah. You take your blindfold down. He stood in the doorway, and he says, everything all right?
I just need to make sure that Remy doesn't kill this one.
Depends where you are, really.
You look like you've seen a ghost.
I say, I can't remember, how did I manage to convince the last one? I say, Augustus, listen to me very carefully. I realize that this is going to be very, very difficult for you to understand, to comprehend, but strange goings-on are taking place in your house this evening. Tell me, think carefully, and tell me, how many places did you lay for dinner tonight?
I'm not sure. Let me see. There was myself, and we squeezed you in, and Veronica, of course. We're supposed to be having Lester Goodman over. So, yes. How many is that?
Think very carefully, Augustus. How many Lester Goodmans were here tonight?
Well, just the one.
I just start crying.
So this is happening in the door to the dining room.
Yeah.
What was Knuckles doing in the library again? You were
I was checking.
You punched the wall.
Yeah. I fucked my hand up punching the wall, and then I was gonna search. Well, now what I want to do is go through the storage room to the kitchen, to the store access room, towards the laundry, all that back stuff, and see if I can find a way out back there. And if I can't find a way out back there, to see whether I can find something I could use to make a way out back there.
Well, every window and door you pass is bricked up.
Sure.
However, in the, I think in the store access room, You do manage to find a trapdoor, which presumably leads to the basement.
So I'm kicking stuff away and I'm sort of searching under everything, and maybe I kick a rug away and there's the trapdoor. I think I immediately lift it up. And yeah, unless anything happens in that immediate moment, I want to crouch down to the floor and just whisper in, "Hello."
You notice there's some wooden steps going down into the basement.
Yeah.
And when you say hello, there's no reply.
But there's no reply.
No.
Right. Well, in which case I still got my lighter on me.
Mm-hmm.
I light it and I start making my way down the wooden stairs into the hatch into the basement.
Once you get sort of down to the bottom of the steps, you can see there's a pulled string.
Yeah.
For lights.
I try it, obviously.
Most of the lights come on.
Oh.
But some sort of flicker and then don't come on. And so they leave like patches of the basement ahead of you there's these big patches of darkness.
Of course, yeah.
And it's full of old furniture stacked against the wall, boxes and tat. There's a whole load of dolls just piled up in one corner. There's a load of clothes and children's toys and a hobby horse and that sort of thing. And there seems to be a sort of path through the junk that you can sort of walk through where they've cleared there's a clear path through, but it's not straight. It sort of meanders through this stuff under the house.
Well, I'm going to start moving, but at the same time, I'm going to make it very clear I'm there by sort of saying, Jesus, you want to get this place cleared up? My Annie back in New Orleans, she had a basement like this. Some stuff you could, some stuff that people would pay a lot of money to find if they didn't understand it quite right. But if they did, they'd pay a lot of money not to find. And I'm sort of saying this as I walk through. And I'm also looking for anything that's better than this wooden spike I have on me, which I'm finding increasingly shit as a weapon. And I'm looking for anything like a metal bar or anything like that.
Well, metal bars don't seem to be apparent, but you do start to hear a soft whimpering. Crying in the distance.
Now, don't you worry. Where's that? From in front of me?
Yeah.
Does it sound like a child?
Hard to say. Could be a child.
Is there any sort of roll I could do to gauge the age? Or the... Maybe not. Maybe.
You could give me a listen roll.
Could be an enormous supernatural bear.
It could be an enormous supernatural bear that loses you 10 sanity for no reason, and then everyone dies.
A child wearing a bear.
Literally just rolled an 8 on my listen.
Yeah, you think it's a woman. You're fairly sure it's a woman. And then you hear a creak right behind you.
Yeah. Is that me saying, yeah?
That's something moved. Sounds like something moved behind you.
In which case, I fling myself forwards and just run towards where the child's voice was coming from, without looking back.
You run and run round through this basement, until you're in the sort of corner where
I say, "Where are you? I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you."
You see Jeremiah. Rosemary's on the floor holding Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is sort of gurgling, and she's crying, and then as she looks up, you realise her eyes are torn out. She's torn her own eyes out, and she just looks at you pitifully with these empty sockets, blood running down her face. The lights go out.
Jeez.
And after a second, they ding 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 back on. And you see the months-old corpses of Rosemary and Jeremiah.
Oh, fuck.
Can you give me a sanity roll?
Yeah, almost certainly. Well, not almost certainly I will.
Dan.
I think that's the worst thing that you've ever done to any of us.
That's awful.
That is really horrific, isn't it?
It's horrible.
He's totally isolated at the far end of a cellar.
And also, I rolled a 92 on my 74 sanity.
Probably fair.
That's got me right in my... Whatever the opposite of a sweet spot is, that's got me right there.
A sour spot.
Yeah, you got me right in the sour spot.
You lose 4 points of sanity.
I mean,
That must push him close.
well, that's 70 on 85.
Yes, you're
Still all right.
two away.
Yeah. So, am I still there in the light now with just these desiccated corpses?
Yeah.
But I recognise them enough to...
Yeah, it's definitely Jeremiah and Rosemary.
Right.
So skipping
Yeah, of
back
course.
upstairs where Zachary's been reading this book.
I think the only thing that snaps me out of reading the book is I hear this soft sobbing, and I say, "It's okay, Mama.
Oh, God.
Everything's going to be all right. You'll see. Zachary will read this book and we'll make it right."
Oh, God.
But then he's focused, reading the book.
Oh, yeah, flashbacks to Biff and Chips.
Oh, but I tell you what, as he's got the book open, he pulls the sheet down and then he just takes out the last of his... If it's all right with you, I did say that I had a collection of clock tools. I lost one, so if that's like half of them, let's say I've got one left that I'm poking holes into this sheet for my eyes.
Eye holes.
And I'm looking through the eye holes like a kid reading this book dressed as a ghost. So now they can't see me, is what I'm thinking.
Of course.
I'm one of them.
So it is a journal, and it appears to be Augustus Wayland's journal. You realise it's very infrequently kept, so it's hard to follow and piece together at points. But
Of course I was right. I'm a fucking genius. Nobody's ever respected that about me, except my mama and maybe Clarence. maybe Remy, but I'm not so sure. I say it all out loud.
So he talks about, he mentions in passing that his wife died giving birth to Veronica, and that it was, it's one of his reasons for wanting to go through with the Abramelin operation.
Tragic. Welcome to Boston. Flick forward.
He's sort of encouraged by the fact Veronica shared his interest in the occult as she grew up.
Established. She's got a degree. Flick forward. I'm basically not in a kind of cavalier way, but just like terrified. I need the information.
He talks about how he converted rooms in the house to do the operation while Veronica was away travelling, and he put the Linwoods on a paid leave for the 6 lunar months he thought he'd need to complete the ritual, but his holy guardian angel didn't appear.
Holy guardian angel didn't appear. Clarence.
He then became convinced the text he was using was flawed, so he started searching for older copies of the Book of Abramelin, and he made it known far and wide that's what he was doing when he was approached by Lester Goodman, who had procured for him a 15th century copy in early New High German, and also provided him with a lamp that he said had been used by previous magicians who'd successfully performed the operation, a sort of boon, a sort of focus for the operation.
But I only speak Spanish.
So he found that the ritual should actually require 18 months, not 6, which he told Veronica about.
I think by now he's squatting on his chair, on his haunches, as it were, sort of slightly rocking backwards and forwards with his head, his ghost head in his hands, reading the book. Just like the book's on the table and he's sort of just reading the book like this. And then occasionally turning the page and just skimming.
Yeah. Oddly, it concludes by saying the sort of the last few entries describe how he's about to attempt it again. And he's preparing for the 18-month ritual.
He is, she isn't.
That's what the journal suggests. Now that he's got the German text and this special lamp, he's going to try again.
So the lamp does get mentioned, because it did catch my eye.
The rest is just notes on the Bible and the Torah, and there is another handout, would you believe it? 6 months into the operation. It is amazing how the same concept can appear across different religions, albeit wearing a different face and bearing a different name. The Malachim are God's messengers, part of a heavenly hierarchy, and have no physical form, although Maimonides proposed they are metaphorical representations of the laws of nature and universal principles. The Malaika are messengers and agents of God's will, also part of a celestial hierarchy, and their forms are incomprehensible. Even in dreams they manifest in different forms. The various branches of Christianity portray angels differently. Catholicism divides them into the 9 choirs and describes them as being forever incorporeal, although the seraphim are also described as 6-winged, the cherubim as 4-faced, having the faces of a lion, an ox, a human, and an eagle, the thrones as burning wheels rimmed with eyes, etc. Protestantism describes them as genderless and invisible beings that are messengers and agents of God's will. If it is required to ensure that God's will is enacted, they can become corporeal. I wonder exactly how I will describe the unequaled beauty of my holy guardian angel when the time comes. I wonder this every day. At midnight tonight, 18 months have elapsed in their entirety. Tomorrow I begin the final stage before, if I am successful this time, my holy guardian angel will appear. The next time I write here will confirm my success or my failure. I hope for the former. And that's the last entry.
And there's nothing in this about her failing the Abramelin before that.
No.
And there's no dates? Sorry, I'm not looking at
No.
I throw the ghost disguise off me, and I walk over to the softly crying Clarence. If that's to dovetail unfairly,
I think by this point I pulled myself together, and you just hear me saying, now listen very carefully. How many places did you set for dinner? Look at the table there. Look at the table there.
Well, I have to say, I didn't lay the table. I'm afraid that's really Mrs. Linwood's department.
now look, Clarence, it mentions the ox. There's a version of the angel that comes in the form of the ox. What if?
Oh, yes.
What if that's it, Augustus?
Is he still got the sheet over his head?
That off. Where's Remy? Where's Remy? Everybody needs to be together. There's no way we're going to do this on our own.
What seems to be the problem?
The ritual's gone wrong.
The ritual's gone wrong?
Dreams, they manifest, but in different forms. That's what it says. That's what you wrote right here. And I can scrabble through the pages, but I don't point to the right page. I just shove
As soon as you show him the book, he takes it from you and looks.
Oh, damn.
And he goes, "Oh my God. Oh my God."
I snatched it away from him.
I remember. This has all been like a horrible dream. How long have I been here?
Fuck.
We've got to get out of here.
Instantly defer to Cubby. But I back away and I say, Remy, into the darkness.
I take him by the arm and I say, my good sir, something terrible has happened, but we have a way to put it right. All that's important now is that you realize the situation we're in. This evening for dinner, there were maybe 24 Lester Goodmans seated around this table. There have been multiple versions of yourself and your daughter, but we have only been here today, and I believe there is some way to put this right, so you must focus your mind, my good friends.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The oxen faces the wall. It has a symbol on it. I don't understand.
In the operation, there's yes. Here's what you need to do. There's going to be
I'm just terrified. I'm looking around me frantically, trying to make sure. I pull my gun out, and so if I see Remy, I can shoot him before he stabs Augustus through the head again. I just say, quickly, tell us in case. You must tell us quickly.
Just in case
something happens to you.
In the library, you must find the Lesser Key of Solomon. The Lesser Key of Solomon has a ritual that can be performed on a white surface in the access room. In the access room has a white floor. You get the chalk. There's different coloured chalk. Veronica! He starts shouting, Veronica! And she comes running in. She's like, what is it? What is it? He's like, chalk. I need the different coloured chalk. She's like, oh, okay. And she goes off and goes, you get the Lesser Key of Solomon. Take it to the library. Write down the ritual on the chalk on the floor. Yes, red for the 3 sacred names of God.
Is it in the German?
Black.
Is it in the German book?
No. Lesser Key of Solomon. Black
I see.
for writing Michael, and dark green for filling in the central circle. It'll take some time, and the demon won't like it. The demon won't like it. He'll try and stop us. But we have to try. It's our only escape.
To the library.
Help me.
To the library. So yeah, if he's heading to the library, I'll follow him. Would it be right to do a psychology roll to see whether now I believe that he is genuinely trying to help us, or whether this is a...
Sure.
That's a regular success in psychology.
On a regular success, it seems like he's telling the truth.
I believe him, and I think I'm too close to the bout of my madness to really analyse his behaviour. I believe him because I want to believe him. And
and there you were about to stab me for stabbing him.
I run towards the library as I understand where it is. I don't think I've actually been in it yet. I've seen it from the outside, though, I know that.
So yeah, the library is, full of books. There's a huge lectern, as I said before, with a large sort of metal eagle on the front. There's a big table in the middle covered in books that are all open.
From our time in the prison together, do I know if you spent a lot of time in the library, Clarence?
I think I might have tried to give the impression that I spent a lot of time in the library.
You know your way around a library?
I have been in.
You know, I spent
a library.
Some time in the library, and
Yeah.
But only maybe 40%.
I have, but I think I'm aware that the experience I had sucked something from me, and not in a good way. And I say, I think maybe this one's for your young eyes, Mr. Crumb.
I'm worried about Remy. Where is he? And then I start looking for books. The Key of Solomon, the Lesser Key of Solomon is what I'm looking for. Any kind of guide, any kind of. Is Augustus?
Well,
Augustus is still with us, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's like he's looking, and he says, "Oh, here it is," and he hands it to you, and he opens it the right page, and he says, "This is the ritual. This is the ritual. Quickly now, we need the wand. There is a wand about yay long.
Fuck me.
Almond wood. It's made of almond wood.
Almond wood. Oh, Remy. And I just start running and going, Remy. And I start running out of the library into wherever I can find Remy.
Yeah. Well, he's rushing towards the access room, which is presumably where Remy's emerging from.
Yeah, I'm downstairs still, right? So I'm coming up the... Yeah. So as I'm coming up the stairs, do I hear him saying, Remy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I sort of... do I have time to completely clear the hatch before he gets there, do I think?
Yeah, I think so.
So I clear the hatch and I slam it back down. And I
try and shoot the long-haired horror coming out the hat. Oh, no, I don't. No.
And I lean up against a cabinet and go, what are we worried about? And then I say, just kidding. Gotta keep our humor up, huh? How are we getting out of this place? Down there is just down there.
I catch up out of breath and say,
down there, it's just down there.
Knuckles, Mr. LeBlanc, Augustus here says there's a ritual we have to perform to dispel this curse upon the house. Maybe I spoke too soon, and it is some kind of voodoo. Maybe I was ignorant and presumptuous, but anyway, we have to assist Augustus.
As far as I'm aware, and apologies, Dan, I like your expertise I've used up getting out of the prison, and I'm starting to become more and more aware of how useless you actually are in this situation. So could I do a psychology roll to just see how much I believe you. Because if I don't believe you,
he's gone the other way.
I might just cut ties at this point.
Can I just ask one observational question? Not to
please.
your action. Do you have that fucking piece of wood in your hand?
Which piece of wood? The spike.
The wand. Yeah.
Well, I've got the spike.
Yeah.
I don't know it as a wand.
Sure. No,
but I think we do, though.
Right?
Oh, well, I'm assuming
Augustus
it may well be that. But
I think apart from you, we as characters do. I think we've made that connection.
Okay.
He's described it.
Well,
He's
unless
described
Dom
the
says
length of it.
otherwise, I feel like I'd have kept it on me because the only other thing I have is a chisel. I don't have a gun or anything.
I'm just double checking.
So, yeah, I slam the door down. I'm there with it in my left hand, breathing heavily. And I say that to you. But I do want to do a psychology roll on Cubby just to see how serious he is in this moment. And I've got a 16 on my 40 psychology.
I mean, I don't know what you're hoping to find out, but I'm not trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
What's weird is I don't know what I'm trying to find out, but all I think Remy knows is there's fucked up shit going on in this house. He's not quite sure who's on board and who isn't. All he knows is he's come to a conclusion where you are the person he's followed for a while. Should he follow you anymore? Do you actually have a better idea of what's going on than him? You probably do. So maybe that's what this is this is him rolling to see if you still have a better idea about what's going on in general.
Well, I tell you what, with that success, this is a bit tenuous, but I think it still gives you what your character needs. Augustus sees the wand. He goes, "This is it. This is the wand. We've only got one chance to get out of this situation.
I stab him through the head.
Otherwise, you'll be trapped like me. 1,000 deaths every day, eternal, constant suffering.
Fuck
now tell me, you must have seen it. You've seen me die already, yes?
Yeah.
You've seen people in this house die and come back.
I've seen a lot of you
The
die.
torture we endure.
That's right.
And now you're stuck like us, unless we do it now. Thank God you came.
Augustus, one question before we begin the ritual. How does this end? Does this end with us escaping the house alive or having one final death that ends it all?
We will banish the demon, and then we'll be free.
When you say free, could you please be completely clear about what you mean?
You mean free as in death?
We'll no longer be trapped in the demon's cage, in its power.
But will we be free in life or in death?
Well, in life, of course.
Now, listen to
think
me,
we're going
listen to
to
me, listen to me, Lovelet. This spike I have here, if I'm to slam my fucking face eye first onto it, you tell me I'll wake up in 10 minutes and I'll be fine?
No, that's not what he said.
No. I don't think he said anything like that.
No, I know.
Why would you say it?
I don't. Why would you suggest such a crazy thing? I don't think what Augustus suggested was anything like what you have just described. I would. Perhaps you would like to give us the wand.
We came
I'm
to you
sorry.
because we want the wand. Remy, we need to get you out of here. Let's all get out of here. You, me, Cubby.
Yeah.
Let's leave. Augustus, I'm sure he'll come too. He's a ghost. He'll come as a ghost. It'll be
Let's
fine.
all of us get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
It's the Abramilk. What you got to understand, it's a three-part. It's a complex thing. It's like a religious votive structure. Yeah, you got to trust this. Give us the wand. It's going to work.
Hey, it's like religion. It's like as soon as someone points out the basic problems, everyone's quiet. But there's loads of discussion about the theoreticals. Anyway, there you
They
go.
work themselves out. So anyway,
Augustus is frantically drawing on the floor now. And he looks up and he says, "It's coming. It knows what we're trying to do. It's coming.
hold it off. Does the stuff
Start the ritual."
stuff under the bed help?
Well, no. What? No. Just follow the instructions in the
The
book.
book, the lesser key, and I'll scrabble for the lesser key or something.
Yeah, and everyone said I was a fucking idiot. And then I hand the fucking wand or whatever it is over. And I'm like, right, let's fucking tool up.
Yeah, and I start assisting with the ritual, but I've got one hand on the makeshift blindfold I made myself as well.
Well, just as you start doing the ritual, and there's this sort of chant that Augustus points you to in the book, and you start doing it. It's all very Edge of Darkness. Blood starts to run down the walls.
Oh, that's where I put that.
Oh no, it's here.
At that moment, I put my blindfold on.
Fine.
I put my ghost sheet on.
I don't do anything of the sort because I'm not sure I trust these people.
Let's have a sanity roll from everyone for seeing the blood.
Oh dear, that's a fail.
That is a 4.
I've rolled a 94.
Oh dear.
So Zachary and Clarence both lose 3 sanity points.
I have a bout of madness.
Oh, I think, I'm still okay.
You are, but your man there isn't. Let's see.
Oh God.
Just as you start putting the blindfold on, Cub, you can hear Augustus saying, all right, now we've all got to do this together. And then you just see Zachary just pass out.
Yes, he's weak.
Yeah.
He's physically weak. This ghost, he's in his ghost shroud. He just kind of slumps onto the floor like a kid, falling over the ghost costume. He's very tall and very thin.
Who's holding the wand at this point?
Not me, luckily.
I handed it over to...
I think Augustus, maybe, yeah.
Well, he hands it over to... He sort of looks between Remy and Cub, holding this wand. Who wants to take it?
I'm not taking it.
I can't see it.
He just pushes it into your hands, Cub.
Okay, fine.
And then you suddenly feel this warmth coming out of it. It's like an extension of your will. You can feel something. And can I have a power roll from you, please?
I'm not sure I'm the best person to be doing this. But that is an extreme success.
Yeah, boy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a 10.
So Remy, as you're the only one who can see this, you suddenly see coming through the blood in the wall that figure, the one that looks a bit like you, the rotting woman with the lank hair, just sort of drifts out through the wall and is like scratching at the ground.
Same one from the chimney. Just...
And it's like she's been dragged to the centre of this pentagram that he's drawn on the floor, this magical circle he's drawn, and it's scrabbling and screeching horribly like a banshee.
Yeah.
It's awful to listen to. And can I have a power roll from you, please?
Yeah, for sure.
What's your power?
My power is 85, and I've rolled a 56.
Nice.
So strong.
You can feel a warmth inside you as well, emanating from this wand that Cub is holding. It feels like it sort of touches you, and you feel very strong suddenly. And then this creature starts to smoke and sizzle in the middle of this magical circle.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's this incredible flash of light, and this whirlwind picks up, and all the junk around the edge of the room starts like flying into the air, and then suddenly flash, and it's gone. And Augustus sort of gets up off the floor and he says, Oh my goodness. It's gone. It's finally gone. Veronica and Jeremiah and Rosemary come into they've sort of shuffled into the room, and they say, Veronica says, is it over? Father, is it over? He says, I don't know. And he goes to the door and opens it, and it's still bricked up. And he says that the demon's gone, but the ward is still here. We need to break the ward. I don't know what it could be.
What's the ward? What's the ward?
There'll be something that's been put in place to keep us contained in this house.
Right.
we've been here for so long, we probably can't see it, but you might have noticed anything out of the ordinary.
As he says that, I mean, I was on the verge of just losing my mind or killing one of them, but as he says that, and I realised, no, we can do this. I just use my focusing thing. I just start going, all right.
They all look at you like you're mad.
And I just start making that noise and moving around the downstairs of the house. And it's like a primal beat, but it's mixed with a sort of echolocation. I've lost my fucking nut at this point. Like, I'm very close to losing my mind.
I'm trying to think whether I have at any point seen the sand. It feels like the sand is...
Would you have seen it when I opened the door to... Well, maybe not.
I don't think I did.
I think you would have done when you were outside. When we came to the entrance, I'm unconscious, but as Joseph the player, we both approached from the same side from the garage.
We saw something falling down.
We saw this odd sort of...
And did you tell me?
Ashes.
I never talked to you about it, but there may have been a chance that you might have seen... It's one of those sort of Spielberg-esque flashbacks that we could offer.
Yeah.
Right now, you're seeing sort of spindrift of sand.
You're welcome to do an idea roll.
I will do an idea roll, seeing as I'm the only person who's apparently sane. Although I'm stood there with a fucking massive wand with a blindfold on.
Better if you did a cinematography roll.
So I'm doing an idea roll. Unfortunately, that's failed, and also I need a penalty die because it's...
Oh, I should say as well, actually, Zachary, by the time this ritual's completed, you're probably no longer unconscious. And actually, I think Zachary is probably the only person who can do this idea roll.
I think as soon as I see Zachary's eyes flickering slightly, I shuttle over to him and I'm like, Zachary, man, wake up. We're here.
What a way to wake up.
Is it here? Is it still here? And I get my gun out. Is it with us? I shot it once in the well and it seemed to hold it off. What's going on?
Give me an idea roll.
It's fine, man.
We need to get out of here.
Yeah, we do.
We aced it. 24. Finally, a fucking roll that is not fucking up.
The journal entry about angels referred to a man, an ox, an eagle, and a lion. And you've noticed an ox that was strangely placed.
And a man and an eagle.
The lectern.
And the bust. When we first arrived.
And the bust.
Sorry, that's player.
That's also quite tangential for me. I'm like, there are men in the house. I'm not sure if I'm buying that, but I like your thinking.
The bust in the window when we first arrived.
And I'm going to say, with your successful idea roll, it occurs to you that they are in particular places in the house. And they were all facing the windows. North, east, southwest, facing windows. Yep, facing windows.
I don't think we've seen the lion, but I guess we
can... Let's check whether there's one on that bust.
Have you spoken out loud this idea that you've had about the man, the lion,
I think it's pure narrative. If there was a man, an ox, an eagle, a lion, I read it in the journal, right, Augustus? It's true. They all face away. They're facing away from the house. There's an alliance between them. We've missed something. They've got to. Maybe one.
In which, at this point, I think I pull off my blindfold and I say, "We must topple them. It falls to us." Us as a band of brothers to rid this curse from this house, to destroy the ward. We must topple the guardians of the north, south, east, west windows. I will go for the bust. And
Augustus suddenly grabs your arm and he says, "You mustn't topple them. We need to break them. Break them."
Break them. And suddenly I move into the conversation. I've been viewing Cubby as this sort of pathetic figure for a while, and suddenly I remember why I was so infatuated with him suddenly in prison. He has this air of a Confederate sort of speaker, this sort of, he can just convince you. And his plan, just in my head, it's like, we're bricked in. What do? We look to someone. And he's the person I'm looking to. And he seems to know what's going on. And it's almost a slight distraction hearing, no, we need to break them rather than topple them. It was still Cubby that had that idea.
It's just
and
details. It's just
I say, it's just details. It's just details. And I say, right, you point me in the direction and let's do this.
So I say, boys, it's another prison break.
Yeah.
And I say, Remy, take do all you can to destroy the eagle lectern in the library. I will take the bust in the front room. Augustus, Augustus, do you know where there is a lion?
And then Rosemary pipes up and she says, "There's a lion statuette in my rooms."
And I say, Zachary, go with her. Augustus, destroy the bull.
Yes, Cubby. Let's do this. And for that split second, I look at Clarence and I realize that it's exactly what the United States needs. A big man with a big heart who can talk openly, vainly, yes, egotistically, yes, but always...
And a penalty die on all mental rolls.
Always desiring to be at the center of things, to be at the whirlwind of ideas. And there's a little bit of me thinking, wasn't this my idea? And he's just taken it for himself. And I think, but it doesn't matter when he pouts so beautifully. And I look at his hair, the way it sweeps back, and I see a tower in the future.
And we all shout, "Drain the swamp!" And
then the vision's gone, and then I'm running with Rosemary.
Zachary, you're going to try and smash the eagle.
I'm going to try and find the lion.
Oh, I'm smashing the eagle in the library. So I run straight in, and it's the top of the pedestal, right?
Yeah.
So I try initially to just pick up the pedestal as a whole thing and just bring it down top first on the floor. Is that a strength roll?
Yeah.
Good. Fuck me, a 7 on a 90.
We'll come back to that. Zachary, you're going to go and try and find this lion, right?
With Rosemary to help me.
Yeah. Where's the ox? What are you going to do with the ox?
Oh, Augustus was to deal with you.
I suggested that Augustus should destroy it.
Fine. So Augustus goes to the ox. Zachary, you go with Rosemary, and she points you out this small lion statuette that is, facing the wall. She's got a whole shelf of little animal figurines. One is facing the wrong way round. It's this lion.
A whole Sylvanian family's triptych.
From my understanding of the Abramelin, is there any sense that this should be done at the same time?
You could give me an occult roll.
Yeah, because to be fair, you might hear just banging in the library of me just bouncing this brass thing.
It's dark in this room, isn't it? Because it's night now. And are the lights working?
The lights are working, yeah.
I failed that roll. I kind of want to push it, but...
Well, we'll come back to that as well. And finally, Cub, you're in the front room.
Yeah.
In front of the bust of Augustus. So what are you going to do? You're going to push it over as well?
Well, what's it made of?
It appears to be made of lead, but painted.
I'm really not very strong. I was hoping it was ceramic and I could shoot it.
It's possible that pushing it over would break it a bit.
But if I could push it over, I'm very weak.
Well, give me either an idea roll or a spot hidden.
Well, a spot hidden because I have to have a penalty die on my... Oh, that's a fail on my spot hidden. I'm going to push it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I go up ready to see what the weight of this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm right up close to just try and work, because I'm aware that I'm physically very weak. And I'm right up close, seeing whether I can budge it, so I get a much closer look at it. Whew, thank fuck for that. That's a hard success on my spot hidden. 24 on my 50.
So you're about to go for it. And then your eye is drawn to something on the wall. Beyond it. It's a portrait of Augustus's wife. And you recognize her. She was the thing you saw in the storeroom and in the bathroom.
Oh fuck!
It was her.
Oh God!
And suddenly you get this overwhelming feeling that maybe you don't have the full picture here. And suddenly, in the library, you hear a smash.
Yeah, I'll teach you, you eagle bitch.
And suddenly all the windows are windows again. And there's no sign of Augustus, or Veronica, or Jeremiah, or Rosemary. You're in this house alone.
I'm going to try and push this roll on the basis of the symbol. I think I'm going to try and turn the light on, especially now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to thrust it up to the electric light and look at this symbol more carefully. This is
give me an
one of my craziest pushed rolls because I can't spend luck, can I? Let's do it. I have failed my pushed roll.
Oh, mate.
Oh, why can't you spend luck?
Pushed roll.
Oh, yeah.
But in the spirit of a pushed roll, you can still succeed.
I failed by 9. Seems harsh.
But with a consequence. This is the lion you're looking at, right?
Lion. I thrust it up to the electric bulb. And in that moment, I think, oh, I recognise that. Smash the electric bulb. Obviously. Probably smash the lion. But I'm thinking they all have these symbols on, and I think they're these Solomon. They're the symbols of Solomon. The lesser key of Solomon is what I'm recognizing.
Indeed.
My time in that library where I was going crazy in the joint, and nobody wanted to listen to me talking about this kind of crazy stuff, and I learned all this voodoo hoodoo, and then it turns out one of my friends, Remy, he knew about voodoo. We never talked about it. Why don't men talk to each other? Why are we so closed off? What's the problem with communicating, guys? Just because we were in the joint together. Not like I wanted more. I didn't want some kind of... Anyway, even if I had, that wouldn't have been a problem. What's love? What's love got to do with it? Huh? It's just a secondhand emotion. Come on.
Obviously, we can cut all this out in the edit. No, it was massively done. Probably have to cut the lyrics for legal reasons. As you hold up this thing, you're looking at the lion statuette, and you see this symbol on it, and the penny drops. It's connected to what you were thinking about before with the magical squares. That's what it is, and it spells a name. It's a secret name. That's what they spell. And you recognize it, and you think you know what it means. You think it means barrier, and you get this horrible sinking feeling like you're not freeing yourselves, you're releasing something.
Oh, fuck.
And just as you think that, you hear a smash in the library.
Oh, God's sake.
And Remy, you knock over this thing with incredible ability.
Yeah.
And the wing sort of smashes off, and you suddenly feel this presence in the room. You realise you're not alone. And when you turn round, there's something there, but it's really hard to make out. It's sort of like a shimmer of light. And it says, finally. And it seems to move past you and out of the window.
What do you mean, finally?
And that's how this thing ends. Oh, God.
We totally screwed that up, didn't we?
Gentlemen, I feel we may have made a terrible, terrible mistake.
This was an Apocalypse Players production. For more information about the podcast...
Hang on. Well, in that case, as I hear this voice past me, I jump through the plate window and after it. Because...
But as soon as...
Whatever this is,
the
it has more power than Cubby. It has more power than Zachary. It is something that I could maybe work for.
Oh, is that what you say to it?
Well, that's my intention. If I'm allowed to jump through the window, that's the pitch I'll make to it. Whatever it is.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, it turns and it says, thank you. Thank you for releasing me.
That's all right.
If there is anything you want, I can grant it to you. I am an angel.
All right. I would like a movie career. I would like to be in a series called True Detective. All right. No, I don't say that.
I can show you the face of God, it says.
I say, I would like to see the face of God. And I hold out my hand into the invisible space between me and this thing. And I wait for something to take my hand.
Something does, and you feel suddenly weightless and light, and suddenly light is rushing over you as if you're traveling at incredible speeds. And then you hear this weird piping and thrumming, and you are in this vast, unknowable cosmic void. And at the centre, you see the idiot god, Azathoth.
D100 sanity lost?
That's right.
Yeah. And whatever I roll, I imagine at this moment.
Well, there's a chance. With him, there's a chance he'll...
Well, yeah. I rolled a 30 on my... on my 70 sanity. On my 70 sanity.
Brings him in line with me. He's still doing one better than me.
This is probably just my brain synapses firing after I've jumped out the window in a moment of where the others have found like a sort of element of release or peace or sort of escape at least. I have jumped out a window because I think the element of adventure and everything, that's the only thing that keeps me going. And Remy
got that.
Yeah, Remy jumps out the window, and as he lands in a cloud of glass, he also lands in a cloud of glass psychologically.
Well, actually, it's much worse than that, because it's not just in your head. It's Zachary and Clarence spend probably hours looking for you, and they don't find you anywhere.
Oh, no, we do not spend hours looking for him.
That's so offensive.
I think you've completely misunderstood our relationship.
I desperately beg for Clarence to give me 5 minutes to look for him. I can't find him anywhere.
After you're left on your own in the house, you're exploring a bit, you find that the garage is full of gasoline. It's very easy to get back on the road.
I make a strange machine out of cogs with eyes on, and I leave it in the shattered glass where I think he last was, and then we leave. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So maybe there's 20 minutes it takes us. But if he's away for hours, then...
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I think we're in that car and we're away.
we're gone.
Hello, listeners. Dom here. We really hope you enjoyed Saturnine Chalice as much as we enjoyed going insane doing it. We just wanted to take this opportunity to let you know that we will soon be launching a Patreon. In exchange for supporting the podcast, you'll be able to access all sorts of esoteric bonus content. Keep one of your eyes on apocalypseplayers.com for more information. And in the meantime, from myself, Dan, Danann, and Joseph, thanks for listening.
Laying in the crowd. day